Alright, so our first step is to lift the car so we can get access to all the panels underneath. We don't need to have the car perfectly level at this point because we're just trying to drain some fluid out. We're going to top it off again after that, but we'll start with just lifting the car up and removing the panels. There's a panel in the wheel well right over here. Right in here. The access point is right about there. And then I need to remove the main panel underneath the vehicle. Of course, when you're jacking stuff up, make sure you have a jack stand to support the car in case it fails. So now we'll go ahead and remove the wheel and then remove the panels for access to drain the excess or the older fluid right now. Alright, so we have two nuts right here. These are 10 millimeters. Use a socket to remove those. Those are out. Then we've got this one body fastener. So you get a flathead under here, pry that out. It's kind of like a drywall anchor. And then just pull straight out. And there you go. And then right up under here, we can find our fill area right there. Right there, that is your fill area. Notice it says WS. If I flip this upside down, that's the Toyota fluid spec, WS. So that's your fill. We won't need that for a little bit. Now let's go under and take the panel off the bottom. So underneath we have more 10 millimeter fasteners. These are the access holes for them. So if you look right up into there, you can see the head of the fastener right there. So there should be 6 on the front. And then there's also these push fasteners. Looks like mine's been messed with because the cap is missing. This one, the cap appears to still be there. So these you pry straight off with a flathead and then they pop out just like the one up here. So 10 millimeters, let's take those off, and that will take the whole oil filter service cover off as well. Then we can get to the drain plug. Okay, so for this fastener in this recess, you're gonna need something like this. Oops, there we go. This is a nail I just bent and ground into a point. And so you're gonna have to get that, something like that, or a pick tool to be able to get up underneath that tab. I'm not sure, I'm guessing that's like that for clearance and something else underneath. Alright, so we have the main cover removed. And we're going to need, this is your transmission drain plug right here. And we're going to need a hex socket or an Allen socket to take that out. But just look at this. This is perfection. Look at these welds. Oh, so good. I'm just kidding. This was definitely assembled by Americans. I mean, these are robotic welds, of course, but, you know, look at all the spatter and everything. Yeah. This is, they're making them quick. They're making them real quick, but Toyota's perfect, so no criticism there. Okay, so this appears to be a 3/8 socket. 3/8 hex socket. So we'll go ahead and first take our drain pan, put it under there, and then drain it out. But stop before you take that drain plug out. Make sure you check your manual. You can go online, that's fine, but check the manual on page 546 of your manual. Automatic transaxle. Do not put a universal fluid, a transmission fluid, in your car. Don't do that if you can help it. I could not get the Toyota Genuine fluid, but it says Toyota Genuine ATF WS. So make sure before you drain this thing, you have the right stuff. So, magic. Here's what it says. This is a bigger 5-quart bottle. This is Idemitsu brand, but it says specially engineered for Asian vehicle models with type WS transmission specifications. This is the second best. If you can at all help it, use the factory fluids, but sometimes it's hard to find the factory stuff. But this looks like it's Japanese, so I trust this more. And it does say specifically for type WS. Do not use stuff that says for all transmission types, for everything. In all likelihood, that will shorten the life of your transmission. I don't care if it's full synthetic or anything. So even if it's just a mineral, non-synthetic factory fluid, use the factory stuff, and or something that sounds foreign. You may be asking yourself, where did I get this fluid? Well, you can get it at various auto parts stores. Advance Auto Parts, AutoZone, I believe, sell this brand. You can also get it, like I did, from rockauto.com and just order it and have it shipped to your door. All right, we've got our drain pan. And we'll go ahead and loosen that drain plug. After the initial flow, you want to go ahead and change. You want to use this, so it's a 7/30 seconds. And we'll go ahead and remove the transmission fluid leveling tube. So 7/30 seconds, and you unscrew that, and then it'll really flow. There you go. So this straw is up inside the transmission, and this is what's going to allow overflow after we've topped it off again. So this car has 61,000 miles on it, and I just wanted to point out, I do about half highway, half city driving, and this fluid looks pretty good actually. So if your fluid looks like this, that's probably a good thing. There's not a lot of metallic in here that I'm seeing. So at 60,000 miles, I think this is a really good sign that this transmission does not have a lot of slippage and a lot of friction material coming off the clutch plate. All right, we are done. So let's go ahead and put the drain plugs back in and the straw and go from there. Don't forget to put the straw back in. So we need to make sure we put the straw back in. Just screw it back in gently. You do not need to torque this thing down, because this is what's going to get us to the correct fluid level once we top it off and run the car again. So this is going to come up in here. If you forget to put this back in and you put the drain cover back on, you can't drain off the excess fluid properly. You're just going to empty the transmission again. So just screw this in by hand until it hits the top. There, it stopped right there. And then we can put our drain cover back on. Now we can go ahead and start the filling process. So what we'll do is we'll take what's left of here as our baseline, and then we'll add a half quart just to make sure we don't underfill. Alright, so we're going to use this clean bucket here. See what our mark is at. Alright, there's our mark. Now we're going to fill this with new fluid and then add a half quart extra. All right. Okay, Okay, so it looks like we drained about 3 quarts out. So we've got 2 left. So let's put that to 1.5. Yeah, that's good. Maybe a smidge more. Okay. Perfect. Alright, so probably the easiest thing is to use a 24mm socket to take out the fill plug. So this is the harder part, filling up the fluid. So I have this funnel with a tube on it, and I have my wife helping me hold this in place while I just put the fresh fluid in, and I'm using a solo cup, 1 cup at a time. Better to go slow than make a mistake and dump it all over the place. You could also use a longer rubber tube. I have done that before, and then you can get the funnel outside the wheel well, and that's not so bad. You can also use a pump, but if you don't have one, or you don't have the extra money to buy one, then this is probably the only way to do it. You do need a funnel and a long tube. So we just want to put all of that fluid in there, and then we can put the cover back on and take the car for a quick drive. Okay, so we dumped the fluid in, and not too bad, even though this is not perfect. We got some leakage out the side, but only a little bit on the ground. So I put about an extra half cup full to account for that. And also, once we pull this tube out, we're going to lose some more. Put the car back down and drive it real quick just to warm the fluid up. So some of you may, in the comments, tell me what I'm doing wrong. Please do. And like and subscribe. I'm not a professional, so you don't need to do anything I'm doing. This is all my opinion. But I am taking it for a drive to warm it up because I don't have a way to tell what the temperature is. I just know I can drive it for a couple of minutes and the transmission will warm up naturally. If you are going to do this, just don't drive it really hard, because I can feel some of these shifts are a little bit harsher. So just drive it easy, and then take it back. That's what we're going to do next. Take it back and get rid of the excess fluid. Okay, we're back from the test drive. I'm leaving the car running to go ahead and check set the fluid level. You want the car to be as level as possible, and in my case, I'm going to try to do it just with the car on the ground. It's pretty tight. This may not work. So the only other way to do this is to maybe drive it up on some ramps, and then use a jack on each rear corner, then a jack stand, and get it to as close to level as possible. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I would say within a couple inches from front to rear should be fine. And go underneath. Get our drain pan. There we go. Go ahead and loosen that. There we go. Alright, so we put the cover back on. Now we can put the cladding on the bottom back on the car. But that is it. Reinstall all your cladding. Take an opportunity to look underneath the car for any other damage or leaks, and that should be it. So that's how you change the transmission fluid on a 2019 Toyota Camry. Again, this is just my opinion on all of this, so it's all at your own risk, but I think if you follow these basic steps, you should be good to go. Biggest things to remember are: don't overfill your transmission, and use the exact fluid specification that the manufacturer has. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments below, and I'll try to answer them.